Chapter 3. Fun hours equals fun money. After I graduated high school, I did not know what I wanted to do. I thought I'd just get a job, work. Most of my friends said they were going to go ahead and take a year off and work for a while and then go back to school. I told my mom what my friends were doing and she was opposed to it. I honestly thought that making money would be something she'd be okay with me doing. Instead, she used logic and gave me advice that I share with everyone today. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to finish school. Just go to school. What's another 4 years of school? If you want to work, you have another 40 years to work. Go to school now. So I had to go to university no matter what. I had no other options. I didn't disagree with her. I just told her that I did not know what I wanted to take. For her, it didn't matter, as long as I was in school. It was 2008, and there were many schools to choose from, and I decided to apply to one, the one that my mom went to, and I got in. Funny enough, my saving grace was my one elective in high school, which boosted my mark enough to get me accepted. Can you guess which that course was? Yes, it was Chinese. The thing I sucked at the most was my ticket to university. In my first semester at university, I didn't really make any friends, but around October I got a girlfriend. I'd already been talking to her on and off about a year during high school, but it hadn't really started too well. We met at a house party, she didn't like me at all, and I hated this. So I did what I did best. I won her over, got her phone number, and we became friends. After that, we would chat using MSN Messenger or Nexopia and talk on the phone almost every day. On weekends, we literally spent hours talking. I had to use multiple cordless home phones because our calls outlasted the battery. In the first year of knowing this girl, we must have hung out together only 3 times. All we did was talk on the phone. I liked her though. It was like something out of an eHarmony commercial. I didn't force anything, I just took it slow. Just before her birthday, she got her driver's license and a car. I was ecstatic. It was only then when I confessed that I liked her. After that, we officially started seeing each other, and that was October of 2008. My girlfriend was at the university a couple train stations away from mine, and she would visit me from time to time and introduce me to some of her old high school classmates who went to my university. I did the rest, made some new friends. So university started off pretty well. I was in academia. I had a girlfriend. I was making new connections. I was your average student. And by April of 2008, I was studying for finals and preparing for the summer break. And to be honest though, I sucked at studying with other people. I used school more as a social club. I would mostly sit at the cafeteria shooting the shit with my buddy, talking about life. And that was my idea of studying. Though one evening my mom asked me what I wanted to do for summer work. I had no idea. On one of those shit shooting sessions, my buddy saw this big blue poster that said summer work and told me to try it out. It had one of those little phone number tabs at the bottom, so I ripped off one of them and made a call. The company was scheduling interviews that evening, so I took the latest slot, which was 6 p.m., and it was about 4 p.m. my time. So I had about 2 hours to head to their office. My buddy and I didn't drive, and I hated taking the bus. My parents were working overseas, so I just called my aunt. I sold her on the idea of me getting a summer job. Then I stressed that the interview was tonight and that I needed a ride. What loving aunt wouldn't help her nephew in those circumstances? She came right away, picked me up from school, and drove me 10 minutes to the address I was given. The building was pretty shady looking, so I told my aunt to wait until I made sure it was the right place. Then I went up the flight of stairs and went into a bright white room. A man came out of the office and advised me that it would be a group interview and it would take about 90 minutes. That was fine with me. It was better than studying. I ran back downstairs to tell my aunt, and she said she'd pick me up when I was done. To cut a long story short, I went through the interview process, the pre-screening, the product demonstration, and the post-interview chit-chat. And then I got the job. I was so excited I called my aunt and I told her I was ready. When she finally arrived, I hopped into the car and she asked me, "What are you going to be doing?" "I'll sell knives," I replied. "You'll do what?" She asked as if she thought I was joking. "I'll sell knives," I repeated. "Oh, I don't think your mom's going to like that." What's not to like? She wanted me to get a job and I got one. First try. When my mom finally got home from her tour, I told her I would need the car for the last weekend of April. What for? She asked. I got training for a job, I told her. And I wanted to surprise her with the news, so I had this dumbass smirk on my face. What's the training for? What do you do? I sell knives, I said. You'll do what? I sell knives. My mom then proceeded to tell me all the reasons why I shouldn't do it. It took what seemed like forever to convince her that I knew what I was doing, which I didn't. I just thought that it would be exciting to try something new. But I believe that if you're stubborn and you care enough, eventually the people will back down. So I was relentless. In the end, my mom told me I should just try it out and she would help me. Many times before, I had asked my friends and family for their advice or opinion, but on that day I realized that if I really wanted to do something, I should just do it no matter what. I know this way of thinking can bite you in the ass, but so far it served me well. After my exams were finished, I had a few days to myself before the big training day. Then I went back to the shady looking office and prepared myself for 24 hours of learning. Who would have thought I would be excited to learn again right after studying for my exams? For the training session, I wore my high school graduation suit, which, let me tell you, did not fit well. Actually, it was my dad's suit, and he's 5'1", a full 8 inches shorter than me. My ankles were breezy for those 3 days. You might be wondering why I was suited up and learning how to sell knives. Who I'm going to sell them to, how much I was going to get paid. So here's the short version. I was an 18-year-old university student going home to home selling knives. It was a commission-based job with a base pay per appointment. I sold through referrals. If it was your son, you might be extremely skeptical. I was jumping for joy though. This was my first real job, and I hated serving at the restaurant, though that was pretty much child labor. My only previous exposure to in-home selling was as a child, watching a Kirby vacuum cleaner salesman. Kirby was the cream of the crop in the market in the 90s, and their vacuum cleaner cost about $2,000. The sales rep would come in and pretty much vacuum the whole house, show off the custom attachments, and then leave behind a free gift when my parents didn't buy anything. Like most people, my mom and dad didn't have $2,000 sitting around to spend on a vacuum cleaner. After the 3 days of training, I was ready to launch into door-to-door sales myself. Starting with 2 of my aunts and the parents of 2 of my high school friends. I was going to go out into the real world with a blue bag full of knives ready to sling some blades. My first appointment was with the aunt who drove me to my interview. It was supposed to take about 45 minutes, but she couldn't sit through my shitty translation to English to Chinese, so she just took out my catalog, flipped through it, and ordered $100 worth. Great! I thought I got my first sale out of the way. I am 1 for 1. I still had 3 more appointments, but I had a really great feeling about this gig. From my aunt's house, I walked to my high school friend's place for my next appointment, unaware that my naivety was going to go slap me across the face. In training, we were taught how awesome the knives were and how to handle and deal with rejection. But they didn't really teach us how to deal with difficult customers. At my next appointment, the mom was pretty neutral, but the dad would bring out his knives and explain why they were so much better than mine. I wasn't happy that someone was shitting on the knives I was trying to sell. That appointment was awful, but at least I got my first no out of the way. And it was still early, I was 1 for 2, and I still had 2 more appointments to go. But by the end of the day, I only had 1 sale and 3 back-to-back no sales in a row. That's a success ratio of 25%. It didn't bother me too much because I had no idea what my employer's sales standards were. But after the weekend, I found out that I had the worst sales return in my group. On Monday, we handed in our orders. Other reps in my class brought in sales worth thousands of dollars. I brought in a measly $100. Then and there, I started to learn that there's a hierarchy in sales. The more you sell, the more prestige you got and more recognition you get. If you don't sell anything, you don't get anything. You get nothing. Thankfully, after advanced training, I started to get better, and after 10 days, I sold $4,000. I was really proud of myself, especially when I got 2 commission promotions. I was having fun. I was really enjoying the job. The only downside was I had to show my mom how much I made in 10 days, and it was $437.80. It was really underwhelming, but it was something. Once again, I was earning child labor wages, but the big difference was that I was actually enjoying myself, and I kept telling my mom that I was learning a lot and I just wanted to keep going. I told her that it didn't matter how much I was working, I was earning money, not asking for it, and that was really rewarding for me. Soon, I started getting referrals that were too far for me to take the bus. So, I would ask my aunt or my parents to drive my ass around. I knew they would get tired of that, so I eventually asked my parents to let me use the car. I had to agree to their conditions. They got first priority. I could only use it on weekends and weekday evenings, and only after they finished their errands. But it worked. My traveling salesman job had landed me a vehicle. Now let's digress and talk about Asian drivers. There are two types of Asian drivers. The first is slow as fuck, methodical, going 50 in a 60 zone, triple shoulder trekking, and ultra safe. This is the kind of driver you're like, holy shit, drive faster. But these are also the ones who drive on the right hand side of the road and they're going to let you pass. So they aren't the worst types of Asian driver. In this group, it's either a middle-aged Asian woman in some sort of SUV or a really old Asian man in a 1998 Toyota Corolla. He's often also bald, wearing thick turtle glasses, leaning forward and squinting at the road ahead of him. You can usually pick these men out through the window because they're wearing the universal old man Asian uniform, a fleece sweater vest. The second type of Asian drivers is the need for speed heatbag Asians. These overconfident drivers are usually in their 20s, have some sort of koi fish, dragon, or tiger tattoo, and one of two hair options. One, spiky anime hair, or two, bald as can be. You can usually pick them out because they are all tricked out tuner car guys. These guys always have some sort of project car on their driveway that gets a suntan and collects rust. They also currently have or have had a Toyota Supra. Last but not least, their car has an exhaust that you can hear a mile away. Bonus judgment. This one either is, or at one time was, a drug dealer. And I prefer this type of driver because they have a cool looking car and they usually speed. They're great for highways because they're rabbits for the cops. I was neither slow nor fast. I was a strategic driver. I guess that makes three types of driver. Let's be real, everyone thinks they drive amazingly. Since there is less traffic in the summer due to people leaving the city for holidays, I would just plan my trips during non-rush hour times and never leave the house between 4 to 6 p.m. because people I booked my appointments would be driving back home. So I did all my appointments either in the afternoons with the housewives or 7 p.m. when I got a chance to sit down with both the husband and wife. As I progressed up the commission ladder, something magical happened. I began to make more money with putting in less time, effort, and energy. It was incredible. But this also is a double-edged sword for an 18-year-old me. I have it good. I was living at home. Mom and Dad did the grocery shopping. I made enough money for gas and going out with my friends. And that's all I really needed. When I was motivated, I'd sell and make money. But once I made enough to meet my immediate needs, I didn't sell anything. I got complacent. Our sales office had weekly team meetings, and every week there would be a sales rep that would continue to sell. Our sales office had a weekly team meeting, and every week there would be a sales rep who would continue to sell consistently, get the money, get the recognition. Back then, I didn't know if I enjoyed being around high achievers. Either I would get envious of their achievement, or I would get inspired to keep working hard, because I just wanted to be a top rep, sell lots, and make a shitload of money. But I didn't want to work hard, so mostly felt envy. I was a below average sales rep with a below average work ethic and an above average dream. I just wanted to have fun, and that's when it hit me. I was looking at work all wrong. It wasn't something where you exchange effort for money. Every appointment I went on was an opportunity to have fun. I didn't care if I got a sale, I just wanted to have a good time. The crazy thing is, the more fun I had, the more sales I got. And when I look at the top sales rep, I realized that they were having fun too. Today, I love high achievers. They make me want to work harder and inspire others. To me, the bottom line is if you want to make fun money, you have to put in the fun hours. So how do you do that? There's nothing worse than making money for the sake of making money. Sure, you get this huge pile of money, but you haven't used it to gain experience or accomplish your goals or dreams. Life happens, and you definitely need to make sure your main bills are paid on time. However, you should also make it a goal to spend the money you've earned. You can delay gratification by working 2 or 3 jobs, putting in overtime, or having a side hustle. There's nothing wrong with that if you invest your time and money with the intent to have fun later. You can also embrace the challenges and stomach the failures of entrepreneurship. It isn't usually glamorous, but it is fun, and that's what I'm talking about here. Whatever you do, I suggest working towards an experience goal or something you want to buy. These are easier goals to achieve. Maybe you want to save enough money to go to a music festival in Europe, or perhaps you're aiming to buy your first guitar. Do the napkin math, see how many hours you need to put in to get whatever it is you really want. I had many different adventures in entrepreneurships in university. One of those adventures involved learning about penny stocks. I would go on forums to learn about the next new thing, then put in a few $100s and earn a few hundred. It gave me a crazy high. I set my alarm for 7 a.m. so I could buy and sell shares when the markets opened at 7:30 a.m. I would dream about winning the penny stock lottery, but in reality, it wasn't so kind. I lost it all. It was a great learning experience and fun while it lasted. Later in life, a friend and I tried to sell Pokemon Go t-shirts. We spent about $1,000 on stock and sold maybe a few dozen. We definitely didn't get our money's worth, and most of those shirts are still in his basement. Instead of spending so much time and energy researching stocks or figuring out how to sell t-shirts, I could have had a normal part-time job, bought stupid shit with my wages, but that would have been boring. Instead, I invested my money on things that produce absolutely no monetary return, but rewarded me with experience. I learned that losing money isn't fun, but being able to fabricate an idea and execute on it because you decided to is important for developing your mindset. There's no one way to make fun hours equals fun money. Whatever you're doing, as long as it's fun, challenging, and promoting personal growth, the monetary gains will soon follow after you develop the skills necessary to execute your ideas. This is where I see friends, family, and many other people doing it wrong. They're chasing the money, but they're not having fun doing it. Say you were great with numbers in high school and you decided to become an accountant. You go, you crush out school, you get your degree, you get that job. The years pass by and you have money in the bank. You have the house, the car, the toys, yet you're miserable. You're stuck. You can't quit your job because you're paying for all that shit you bought thinking it was going to bring you happiness. Or maybe you're a free bird. Whatever money or opportunity is presented, you take it. You have fun all the time. You travel, you buy things, you go places, and when you're back home, you work whatever job you need to do to chase that fun again. But you see your friends start a family and grow their careers, buy toys and houses, and you're envious because you don't have the money to do that. Either way, what matters is how you decide to live your life when you finally acknowledge your own unhappiness. That is when you need to make the executive decision to change because no one else will do it for you, regardless of who is in your life. My goal in this chapter is to help you empathize with yourself, to understand what you want, how you can make money to pay for it, and have fun at the same time. If you're that rare breed of person who knew exactly what they wanted to do when they grew up, congratulations, go live your life. If you're like me and you have adult ADHD, where you just want to see where your life takes you, then you need a plan or a strategy to win the game of life. Maybe you're in school and the pressure's on to choose a major that will get you a great career. You need to ask yourself what it is you really want. Are you working towards a job that'll make you a lot of money, but hating what you have to do to get there? If so, you're going to be that guy or gal who's stuck in a career they hate, making money they don't need, and losing precious time that they could be used to pursue something actually enjoyable. If that sounds like you, it's time to talk to your ego. Are you willing to take a pay cut? Can you give up materialistic things to work on something you really love? Maybe it's fitness, cars, beauty, fashion, vlogging, traveling, sports, animals. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that you can work towards the thing you want. And if you just Google it, you'll see that someone out there has already paved the way for you. What if I told you that by putting your extra time into your passion project, one day you'll be able to make the same salary you're making now, but you'll be following your dreams? Would you do it? And I hope you say yes. Yes, I want that. Keep your options open. Keep working at your main gig, but plug away at your fun stuff every day too. If you're willing to put extra effort into whatever you spend your fun hours on, sooner or later it's going to pay off in fun money. Sure, it can sometimes take years before that fun money starts coming in, but once you start seeing the first small tangible result coming in, you won't even think about all those extra hours you put into your passion. You will have built something that you wanted to and you had fun doing it. This book's an example of that. I decided to write it because it was on the list of dream projects I wrote down many years ago. Wouldn't it be funny if I became an author, asked a guy whose girlfriend had to rewrite his papers for him because they were so awful? What better way to have fun than to write a book in 120 days? And since you're reading this, that means I finished the book and became a self-published author. Maybe I'll make money off this book, and maybe I won't. Either way, I had a lot of fun writing it and surprising people who didn't think I could. Whatever I make will be fun money from putting in fun hours, but it might not be really profitable. To me, it's worth every hour spent doing it. I have a friend who has worked in the corporate banking industry for years. She loves building Lego. She literally has thousands of dollars worth. She also loves going to bar class. So, what does this have to do with fun money and fun hours? Well, my friend's bar class was shutting down due to unforeseen circumstances, and she was sad that her fun was coming to an end. What better way to have fun than to start her own bar class? She found a core group of people and had some drama here and there, went through her challenges. Then, almost a year later, she partnered up with a yoga studio, and now she's getting advanced payments, and more people are signing up for her classes. And as a result, she gets to do bar for free. She's learning about how to run a business, and plus any extra money she makes goes towards Lego. When you're having fun, you'll never do it for the money. However, if you're intelligent about it, you can definitely make money doing the things you love. Go and figure out what you enjoy doing and find a way to monetize it. Is it making videos, vlogs, writing blogs? Is it selling something in an unconventional way? Do you need to find like-minded people with skill sets that would help you? Figure that shit out. Because it's really fun when your dreams start coming true. So go out there and put in fun hours to make fun money. Chapter 3 Summaries. If you want to borrow your parents' car, get a sales job. Always double check to see if the person driving slowly is an Asian driver or not. Remember to save your grad clothes because one day your son or daughter will wear them. Don't do it for the money, do it because you love it. And as a reminder, there's a delay in monetary gains when you first starting out your fun.